Happy Halloween, everyone! Now, I'm usually not one to do holiday specials, but this particular season reminded me of a particularly bad toy, one with a perfect Halloween black and orange color scheme. So today we are looking at... Hang on, really sorry, that was off. Hello? Oh, hi, it's the guy who says first in every video. Man, you are really early this time. What do you need? What do you mean I'm wrong? What do you mean the toy's not black? Like, I'm looking at it. The toy is black. No, like really black. Like black as coal. Black as night. Black as ink. You know, it's pitch black, jet black, obsidian black, piano black, jack black, Lewis black. Like, how much more black can it be? The answer is none. None more black. What do you mean, shine a light on it? Well, they say in some cultures dark blue is a traditional Halloween... Hello? You ever have one of those toys that you can remember liking, but then you go back and play with it again, and maybe you start questioning your own memory? That was me in Energon Snowcat, and upon playing with it again, I made the decision that I was very, very easy to please at one time. And then I made another decision. To whoever bought it, I'm sorry. But that did make me remember I'm not totally rid of the mold, because I still have the universe version. At this point, I'm pretty sure my memory is out to get me. For those unaware, Snowcat is named after and based on a popular G.I. Joe vehicle, the snow-faring half-track truck driven by the Joes. So of course, the Transformers version is a Decepticon. Which is kind of like making an Autobot out of a hearse. You just don't do it. It's an evil vehicle. I mean, make a Decepticon out of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile while you're at it. Speaking of, this certainly does have the look of a hearse with all the black plastic going on. Well, except for the orange highlights, of course. I thought it to be based on the G.I. Joe Night Force line with its dark vehicles and neon trim. Except the Snowcat was never in the Night Force line. Probably because even at night, a pitch-black vehicle in a snowfield is not exactly stealthy. It's not like the Snowcat didn't have repaints either. They reused the toy for the Tiger Force line. It was researching this toy that made me realize G.I. Joe has the same problem Power Rangers does. When there's no clever name, it's just Force, Ninja Force, Time Force, Tiger Force, Wild Force. It's as bad as Transformers using Blast to cover up their lost trademarks, and we've come full circle. As we've already seen, the trick to this toy is the fact that it's not all black. Parts of the toy are molded in super dark blue, a shade so dark you need a supernova to actually notice. It's a pretty common error to call the toy all black. Even reviewers who have been doing this longer than me missed it. The trick is this middle ground between dark blue and black is somehow more annoying, because it feels like they couldn't make up their mind which way they wanted to go. I mean, if this thing was just a few shades lighter, we might actually have a color scheme going here. But I'll have much more to say about the colors once we get to robot mode. Let's focus on the vehicle for now. First off, this thing is loaded with gaps. There's holes all around the vehicle, especially through the middle. You've got a massive gap going straight through the side of the vehicle, so hope that Snowcat isn't the one blocking you from enemy fire. Meanwhile, on top, a tiny panel pegged on by just a tiny ball joint, where the toy's only Minicon peg exists. It literally looks like they forgot to put a Minicon peg on him somewhere and just tacked one on at the last second. Hey, I got an idea. Let's actually try it. We plug a Minicon on. It wiggles as I get it into place. Now we remove and... Every time anyone ever tells me that Hasbro used to make their toys so much better, you remember this moment. Without the panel, it becomes clear the top is just his arms folded back. This panel is literally the only thing hiding that. That means the lower half of it is his legs. Think they're any better? Two versions of this toy did this to me. The hinge is too weak to hold itself and nothing pegs onto the rest of the rear. And you know the annoying thing about this design, and I didn't even realize this until recently? Energon already did it! Look at Inferno, just one wave earlier. It's the same transformation. How did he get it right and Snowcat can't even come close? I'll tell you how. It's an old friend of the Plastic Addict. Intrusive Gimmick! Energon Decepticons had hyper modes, usually flip-out missile launchers or weird third transformations. Snowcat, for some reason, is both. And such a ferocious-looking vehicle he is, I can see his head! It's literally the only thing in the middle of the vehicle. At least Ironhide's head points forward, Snowcat's staring at his own armpits. Ironhide has the sense to armor his head, too. I'm pretty sure one good shot here ends any threat Snowcat has. And it's not like he's going to turn in my direction to fire back. You think he can on those skis? Funny gimmick, but not exactly practical, especially when you account for the rocket boosters on his rear. I don't know if you've ever slid on an icy road before, but speed generally doesn't help you. So what chance do you think Snowcat has of staying on the road with skis and 200 miles per hour of thrust behind him? It's like sending a toy car down a Hot Wheel ramp. You've got one direction to go, and odds are it will end with you upside down and likely getting knocked under a sofa by the cat. Now we have to look at robot mode, but that means transforming him first. Don't worry, he's not difficult. Literally all his robot parts just hinge forward around the cab. That's it. The most complex thing is getting all his kibble adjusted on the dozen or so hinges it hangs off his body with. It's like folding up a road map. You're never quite sure if you've got it together the right way. And once we get to the end result, we have to talk about color scheme again, because to be honest, he doesn't have one. He's almost all black and fake black, with hits of orange here or there, and that's really about it. He looks like a prototype. The only other colors immediately visible is the translucent dark green and the inexplicable red Decepticon spark in his front. Looks like his belly button's infected. Really should get that looked at. The only paint for the robot mode is the orange around his fists, the gray helmet crest, and the orange visor. That's it. They didn't even bother to paint his Decepticon emblem. How much of a throwaway toy do you have to be for Hasbro to not even bother with your molded-in faction symbol? Oh, and they played favorites here. Have you ever seen his wavemate Downshift? 'Cause they really wanted you to know what side he was on. That's a toy I gotta talk about some other time, 'cause they barely changed the deco on him and then upcharged the toy. 'Cause that's in no way a ripoff, he said with all the sarcasm he could. Oh, did I not mention that? Yeah, the toy was upcharged. KB Toys exclusive. That meant you had to go all the way out to the mall, hope that yours wasn't hopelessly out of date like mine always was, and then pay a minimum 30% more than any other deluxe would cost you at any other store. All to find out your Halloween bot wasn't actually black and nobody at Hasbro felt like painting him. Articulation isn't bad for the time, 12 points in good spots, so I'll give him that. But to bend the knees, the skis have to be moved to the sides of his legs, which removes the hinge that acted as heel spurs. To put him in poses, you have to remove the thing that keeps him standing in poses. You do have an alternative, though, and that is hyper mode. So this terrifying evil Decepticon's big dangerous hyper mode is skis. Full-size skis. I'm looking at a Decepticon with a timeshare in Aspen. Okay, I know people are going to defend this one. It's just a toy and it's a funny little gimmick. Okay, fine. But we're looking at a Decepticon with a built-in hobby. Now, can you imagine anyone else doing that? Imagine Shockwave with a sewing machine hand, or Black Arachnia with a bowling ball, or Arachnid with tennis, or okay, bad example. More to the point, he doesn't exactly look like someone who could handle himself on skis. Now, that's not me trying to body shame or anything. I could definitely stand to lose some weight myself. I'm just saying that when 30% of my body weight was sticking straight out in front of me that far, I would not take up a sport that required expert balance. Also, doesn't help that the hinges on these things loosen so easily. I keep losing at least half a ski every time I put them away. Then we have those rocket launchers again. To point forward, you have to have this big assembly stick straight out of his back and hope the chain of hinges on it holds up. One of mine is too weak, so this one has to carry the weight, making it stick out even farther than it should. Also, I know this is nitpicky, but I'm really curious why any robot would connect two massive rocket launchers directly to his spine, where the recoil would surely rip it from his back. Then again, in the show, Megatron gave Cyclonus this body after he screwed up, so maybe that's what he was hoping for. In the end, I can sum up the toy in one word: lazy. The color scheme is boring and a half-effort at best. The engineering is lifted from another deluxe on the shelf at the same time that did it way better. The robot mode looks terrible, with no attempt to make a cool deco. Too many small hinges means a lot of points of failure. It didn't even get the Halloween color scheme right. All around, from the engineering of the original toy to the color scheme of its repaint, this toy just screams laziness. And if there is one thing I will not tolerate, it is laziness. So thank you for joining me today, and stay tuned for the next episode of Plastic Addict, coming to you 2 years from now. Until then, I am the Plastic Addict, punishing painful plastic, no matter what holiday it is. No, it won't be 2 years from now. I'm already working on it. Blah, 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 blah.